Welcome everyone to another edition of Making an Impact. I am your host, Simply Sensational Billy James. Okay, this week was a special theme show. This was the last TV taping from New York at the Manhattan Center. It was a New York City Gold Rush. We had MVP, Austin Aries, Magnus, Mr. Anderson, and Tajiri that was in this, and Abyss. The winners of these matches get to go to the main event with the winner getting a title shot. Not just any title shot, a title shot against any champion he wants. It could be for the TNA Tag Team titles. It could be for the X Division title, or of course they could go after Lashley for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Okay, with all that said, here's the breakdown of what we had. We had MVP taking on Loki. We had Robbie E taking on Tajiri. Austin Aries taking on Knux. We had Mr. Anderson. Yes. Taking on Magnus. And then we had Abyss taking on Samuel Shaw. So we'll break it down. I'll tell you the good and the bad, okay? All right, well, are you ready to get started? Let's get to it. First match of the night we had was Loki taking on MVP. Not a bad match. Loki being the smaller guy, MVP, being the bigger guy. Both with, Japanese, style background. Both have wrestled in Japan. Started off with, MMA style kicks and stuff. But MVP starts getting control of the match in the early beginning after Loki went for a top rope move. And MVP was able to sweep his legs and knock him off the top of the ropes. But Loki would come back, and then he would start hitting chops on MVP in the chest, which MVP dared him to do, which was pretty funny. At one point, Loki went for the key crush, but couldn't hit it. MVP tried for a powerbomb type move, but Loki was able to step over on MVP's shoulder and turn it into a drop kick into the back, which I thought was a pretty sweet move. I really didn't think Loki was going to win, and sure enough, MVP is able to take Loki down and hit the drive-by to get the win. Not a bad match. I really didn't see Loki going into the main event, but it would have been nice to see him there. Considering this was a title, this Gold Rush is for a title shot against any champion. It would have been okay for Loki to make into the five for the final in the final five for the main event. But nevertheless, it's MVP going over Loki. Not a bad match. Average, but slightly above average. But it was nevertheless. It was not one of those that get you out of your seat and go on type matches, but it was still good. So if you want to check it out, go right ahead. It's not a bad match, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. But again, MVP, your winner, he goes on to the main event. And Loki, who knows what's up next for him? Who knows? He might get another title shot against Samoa Joe for the X Division title. We'll just have to wait and see. Okay, we had the next match of the night. Robbie E taking on Tajiri. But before the match, Robbie E was backstage with Jesse and Zema Ion, DJ Z. Talking about Jesse and Robbie, how they're dating the beautiful people and how they're dating two hot knockouts. And he also talks about he's going to win the tournament. Then he goes on to talk about how he and Brooke Tesmacher are on the Amazing Race, and he's now dating two hot knockouts, and nobody will ever know. It's a little funny, but it's well done. And Jesse talks about his time on Big Brother and says, dude, there's cameras everywhere. And it's just a funny little segment. It's a little cheesy, but it's well done because it puts over the storyline about the bromance being with the beautiful people. Take that for what it's worth. Then it puts over the tournament, which is supposed to be a big deal. And it puts over Robbie E and Brooke on The Amazing Race, which to me is a big deal because, CBS is a national network. National. We're talking about one of the big three. So for Robbie and Brooke to get this kind of exposure, not only is it good for them, but it's good for TNA. Okay? Because they're pro wrestlers. They're dating pro wrestlers on The Amazing Race. Okay? So, let's get to the match. Robbie E's opponent is Tajiri, and Tajiri starts out and he nailing him with some kicks. He nails him with a nice roundhouse kick and then locks into the tarantula. Robbie E gets a little offense in, hitting an impeller DDT, but he can't follow up with it, and he starts arguing with the referee. Tajiri comes charging, but Robbie shoves him into the referee, and the ref takes a bad bump. However, this is to Tajiri's advantage. Tajiri blows the screen mist into Robbie's face, and the referee doesn't see it. Tajiri hits another roundhouse kick, takes Robbie E down, and 1, 2, 3. Tajiri is going to the main event, not Robbie E. Not a bad match. It wasn't a squash match totally, but you might as well say, hey, Tajiri had most of the offense. But nevertheless, hey, Tajiri, it's great to see Tajiri back in the U.S. We hadn't seen him in a long, long time, so it's good to see him. I always kind of liked him in WWE. He was cool, especially when he was with Tori. He was with Tori Wilson. So anyway, it's a match. If you missed it, don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. But if you want to catch it, go right ahead. It's kind of cool. When is my Brooke Tesmacher going to come back? Are we going to see a feud between Velvet Sky and Brooke Tesmacher? I hope so. I'm for it. But later on, Tajiri goes to the finals. He's now in with MVP. So we'll find out the others in just a few minutes. Okay, our next match of the night was the greatest man that ever lived. Austin Aries taking on Knux of the Menagerie, who came out with Crazy Steve, the Freak, and the Hot Rebel. Good thing my wife's not here, but the Rebel has a hot smoking ass. I'm just saying. I love you, honey. And you know I love you. I'm talking about my wife, okay? Oh, Lord. Lord. Why of all people, Knux versus Austin Aries? Are you kidding me? Okay? Nothing against Knux, but we're talking about the greatest man that ever lived, one of the highest performers in TNA, and they put him up against Knux. All right, well, Knux has some offense, but it was mostly Austin Aries. Austin Aries, he used his speed. He had a nice quick suplex on Knux. Knux tried shoving him back, only to get drop kicked. It was duck and dive for Austin Aries until he went for a suicide dive outside the ring. Knux moves out of the way. However, Aries takes out Crazy Steve and the Freak. Knux gets him back in the ring, goes for a little offense. He hits a nice side slam and then a diving cross body. Gets a 2 count. Not enough. Austin Aries comes back. He tries for a brainbuster. Can't get Knux up, so what does he do? He uses some discus clotheslines, forearms, to take down Knux, get him wobbly, and then Boom! Brainbuster for the win. Austin Aries going to the main event. I mean, Knux, he's not a bad wrestler. He's a power wrestler. You know, he's a power wrestler. He's not a technical wrestler. And, you know, I like that they're trying to do something with him, but this menagerie gimmick just is not working. It's not working. I do not like Crazy Steve whatsoever. I think that is one of the most stupidest characters I have seen. And believe me, we've seen a lot of stupid characters. I mean, Claire Lynch is in the top 10 for sure. But the menagerie, I don't know what. I think it's a failed experiment. I think Rob Terry's the Freak. Let's just get that straight. Everybody knows it, or if you're a smart wrestling fan, you know it. Rob Terry needs to go back to being Rob Terry. The Freak, was a cool gimmick, but it's done. Crazy Steve, either come up with a new gimmick or that's just my opinion there. Rebel, she can learn how to wrestle. I say keep her around. If not, put her with someone and let her be a ballet. You know what I'm saying? She's got a hot body. Have you seen the summer bikini pic shoots they did with the knockouts? Oh my Lord. Lord have mercy. But I'm a married man. I love my wife, and I will look but not touch because I love my wife. Okay? And besides, my wife would kill me. So, I'm just saying. Anyway, Austin Aries goes to the main event. I'm an Austin Aries guy, and you can skip this match. This match was not worthy of Austin Aries' abilities, in my opinion. But nevertheless, this was the match they had for him. He's going to the main event. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Right? Yeah. Okay, we had Magnus taking on Mr. Anderson in the fourth match in the New York City Gold Rush tournament. This was actually a good match. Mr. Anderson came out, great fan reaction. Matter of fact, he had a fan go chant along with him, Mr. Anderson. It was good. You know, it's that great fan interaction. So, Magnus, awesome during this match. They traded blows early in the match, and it looked like Anderson was getting the advantage, was going for an early win with mic check. But Magnus was able to sidestep it. He stepped and slide out of the ring. Anderson tried for a baseball slide, but of course, Magnus was able to catch him between the apron and started welling on him. And was working him over pretty good. Anderson tried to come back, but it didn't last long. Some hard clotheslines from Magnus, and they kept going at it until Anderson was able to come back with a nice swinging net breaker. He tried for a second mic check, but Magnus was able to arm drag Guri Anderson out of it, and he was able to go for another 3 count, but he hit. It was an arm drag. Excuse me. It wasn't an Guri. It was an arm drag. But then he had a backdrop on Guri. Get things right. I'm sorry. Been a long day. Anyway, he almost gets a 3 count, but Anderson gets his foot on the rope. But Anderson is able to get back to his feet and catch Magnus in a third mic check attempt. This time it's good enough to hit, and Anderson gets the 1, 2, 3, and Anderson is going to the main event. Good match. This was probably one of the better matches of the night in this tournament, in my opinion. Magnus, good solid performer. He'll be pushed again here in the near future, but I think he did a great job in this match, and so did Anderson. The crowd was really into it. Fans were behind Anderson. Good match. Speaking about Magnus, congrats to Magnus. Magnus is now a daddy. In case you didn't know it, I'm going to tell you anyway. The greatest female wrestler currently active today, Mickie James, just gave birth to her first child, boy. And Donovan, I can't even, Adrian, I believe is how Magnus' real name is, last name is pronounced. They're not married, they're just a couple, so. But it's nice that Mickie allowed, named the child after him. Took his last name for the child. But they're not married. Who knows? They may get married. Who knows? But congrats to the happy parents. And I'm sure we'll see their son here in 20 years in the ring, probably with the ring name of Brutus James, but we'll just have to wait and see. But still, getting back to the match, it was a good match. I'm glad, it was nice to see some good chemistry between Anderson and Magnus. So, you know what? I recommend checking this match out. I think you'll like it. So, check it out. And next match, we'll talk about that. Okay, the last match in the tournament before the main event, was for the final slot in the main event, was Magnus versus Samuel Shaw. Okay, this was another close squash match. The offense was majority of Abyss. Shaw tried to get several offense on Abyss, but it was to no avail. Abyss just overpowered him. They followed on the outside of the ring, and Abyss was just welling him and had complete control on him until Shaw was able to duck out of the way, causing Magnus to punch the steel ring post. Magnus, excuse me, I got Magnus on my brain. Abyss. And Abyss sold the hand injury as the match went on. But Magnus, still I'm doing it. Magnus, gotta get Magnus out of my head. Okay, he's gone. Abyss still dominated him. He had a nice choke slam on him. And it's clotheslined him several times, but Shaw tried to get some offense in, but every time he tried to hit anything, Abyss just kept pushing him off. So Shaw went to a next tactic and nailed, without the referee seeing, nailed Abyss with the steel chair. But guess what? That didn't work, as when Shaw came back in the ring after hitting him with the chair from the outside of the ring, stepped right into the black hole slam of 1, 2, 3. Abyss is the winner, and he goes on to the main event. Another, pretty much call it squash match. You can skip it. Shaw, I don't know where they're going to go with Shaw. It looked like they were planning on starting the feud between him and Gunner. We'll just have to wait and see where it's going. And where does Brittany fit in all this? Because they were trying to do an angle where Brittany is got the hots for Shaw. Who knows where that's going to go. But now we have it set. It's going to be MVP, Tajiri, Austin Aries, Mr. Anderson, and now Abyss. In the main event, the winner gets a title shot against any champion he wants. Main event, MVP versus Tajiri versus Austin Aries versus Mr. Anderson versus Abyss. Now, here's the strange thing about this match. Tag team rules, and only 2 men can be in the ring. The other 3 stand on the apron, and they have to tag in. Don't ask me why. That's just what they did. First person to get the pinfall or submission is the winner. Okay. We had MVP look like he was going to start out the match against Abyss, but he tags himself out. We had Anderson and Abyss finally started the match, and I'm just going to read some of the highlights because it was so hard. It was so fast-paced match. Started out Abyss trying to confront Anderson, and Anderson hits a nice net breaker that stops him in his tracks. But Abyss backs up in the corner, is backing up in the corner, and Tajiri tags himself in. That's the whole thing about this. You got to be careful in the corner because you can get tagged out real quick and not even realize it. So Tajiri and Anderson locks up, and they go at it with a little bit. A shoulder block knocks off Tajiri, and they trade chops, kicks, and other strikes until the action goes to the corner. Anderson tries to charge the corner but comes up empty. Tajiri tries to roll him up for a 2 count. Tajiri actually arm drags out of the mic check when Anderson tries for the mic check, and then Austin Aries gets in the match, and him and Anderson go at it. Forgive me here because I'm trying to, as I said, I have interaction with some people on Facebook and stuff, and that try to give me some insider information and such. So anyway, this is where the match really got good, is when Tajiri and Aries was in the ring, because Tajiri took Aries down, started working on his leg, and they traded, punches and holds until Tajiri hit handsprings to his feet. Aries ends up getting his handstand drop kick in for a 2 count. They're still in the ring, but MVP tries for a distraction, and Aries gets caught with a head kick. Anderson tags Tajiri, and he's back in the ring, with MVP being the only competitor who's not been in the ring yet. Abyss is tagged in for Anderson as MVP avoids being in the ring, but doesn't last for long as Aries tags him in. And then Abyss goes to town on MVP, beating him from corner to corner. MVP desperately tags Tajiri, who tries to get a handspring elbow, only to be no-sold by Abyss, who knocks Tajiri down. Anderson is now in for Abyss, and but he gets put into the tarantula. The two go for the second rope. Anderson lands the green blade plunge on Tajiri. He tries to pin Tajiri, but MVP blind tags himself into the match and hits the drive-by on Anderson, but the count is broken up by Aries. Very smart on Aries' point. Aries hits MVP with several strikes before eating a belly-to-belly suplex. Despite this, MVP is knocked to the outside of the ring. Aries hits a nice suicide dive and then gets back in the ring, tags himself in, and goes to work on MVP. He scores a schoolboy roll for the pin. He puts all of his weight up to keep MVP down and gets the win. And Aries gets to choose whoever he wants to face for a title shot, whether it be Samoa Joe for the TNA X Division title. He could pick a tag team partner and take on the Wolves, who are currently the TNA Tag Team Champions. Or he could, one more time, go at Lashley for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. My money is he's going to take the title shot against Lashley one more time. I think that'd be a great match. Their first match was pretty damn good, and I like to see it again. I think Aries deserves another title run with the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. I think his first run was too short. I understand why they did what they did by doing the title change at Bound for Glory, putting the title on Jeff Hardy, But I think Aries deserved a longer title reign. And hopefully he'll get that title reign here in the near future. So, with that being said, Austin Aries now gets to choose who he wants to take on for a title shot at whatever TNA title he wants. And it's been reported, we'll find out next week what he's going to do. Alrighty, star of the week. It's a no-brainer for me. It's Austin Aries, the greatest man to ever live. I thought he was awesome in the ring. I love the interaction between him and Tajiri. I wouldn't mind seeing a one-on-one match between Austin Aries and Tajiri. Be great to see. He was just on fire. Besides the main event, the other match to watch, Magnus versus Mr. Anderson. It was a pretty damn good match. I was impressed. But I'm sorry, but what the fuck? No knockouts. We did not have a knockouts match. Ah! No. Your knockouts are your highest rated segment, and you don't have the knockouts on, not even in a segment. A sphincter says what? Come on. What are you thinking? It's a no-brainer, people. Anyway, they did talk about how Havoc will face Gail Kim next week for the TNA Knockouts title. This is the first of the TV tapings from Bethlehem. I believe that's how it's pronounced, Pennsylvania. So, that should be an interesting match. This is going to be interesting to see Havoc taking on Gail Kim. It's something fresh, something new, so that's going to be awesome to see. Also, next week, we're going to hear from Bobby Roode. What's his future after his loss to Bobby Lashley not winning the TNA World Heavyweight title? We'll have to wait and see on that. Austin Aries, who's he going to take on? He's going to get that title shot? Who's he going to take on? Is it going to be Samoa Joe for the X Division title? Is it going to be the Wolves for the tag team titles with a partner of Aries choosing? Or will he try one more shot at Lashley for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship? We'll have to wait and see. Also, they're teasing a feud between Rockstar Spud and EC3. Please, EC3, for the love of God, put Rockstar Spud out of his misery. I'm begging you. I am begging you to put him out of his misery, because I'm sick and tired of Rockstar Spud. And that's what I got to say about that. Also, one other thing they hyped during this show is the best out of the the tag team series between, I'll get it straight here, between the Wolves, the Hardys, and Team 3D. They're 1-1 apiece. All three teams have won a match. This fourth match will be the tiebreaker. Whoever wins it will be either the new TNA Tag Team Champions or remain the TNA Tag Team Champions. And the Wolves gets to pick what type of match it's going to be, and we're going to find out next Wednesday what that's going to be. Okay, want to talk some TNA news real quick. Okay, the Bound for Glory pay-per-view card is still not finalized. Supposedly, Wrestling One promotion in Japan, ran by the Great Buddha, is booking Bound for Glory. What the fuck? Pardon my French. And now they're going, oh, we're not going to have a knockouts match because there's just not enough time for the girls. What? The knockouts are the highest rated segment. That's what people tune in to watch, and you're not going to have them on this pay-per-view. Be honest with you, they shouldn't even call it Bound for Glory. I mean, I'm just saying. I understand they want to do something different, but they could have had it overseas somewhere else, like in the UK. But no. Supposedly this is a money-saving thing for TNA. The only thing they're having to spend is the travel expense for the talent, paying the talent, and that's it. And Mike Tenay and Taz will not be at the Bound for Glory site in Tokyo, Japan. What will happen is it will air live in Japan. Wrestling One will tape it as it's going on. They will then transfer the tape over to... Excuse me,
health policy.
About that. Anyway, they'll transfer the tape over to TNA's offices in Nashville, and that's where Taz and Mike Tenay will do the voiceover work and such. So, also, rumors. TNA now has four networks looking at them. The top two are, of course, the Discovery Velocity, which I think is the bad choice. They're not available in a lot of markets, and they want to pay a lot less for a TV deal. Okay, another contender now is WGN America. It's a very available cable network, and it could be a very good fit for TNA, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there. The third supposed network is CMT. That's an interesting one, and I wouldn't mind it going there. I'd rather see TNA go to either WGN or CMT, but we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. A lot of things are up in the air for TNA's future. Supposedly, they're booking a New York again for live TV tapings, but that's not 100% confirmed. They do have their UK tour that they're going to be doing in January. They do it every January. It's a very successful tour for them, believe it or not. Supposedly, December will be a best of episodes to get them through the rest of their contract with Spike TV. If that does happen and it's best of shows, there will be not a Making an Impact. I'll probably try to do a WWE type show to cover those months. So anyway, that's it for this week's edition of Impact Wrestling. Don't forget to check back next week. Also, hey, check out the Wrestling Debate on Blog Talk Radio on the Nerd Port Network. You gotta check it out. You never know what's going on. You may drop a pipe bomb. My good buddy and partner in crime, John Mayer. You never know what he's going to have to say, so you got to check it out. Speaking about my buddy John, you got to check out his show on the Nerdport Network, Blog Talk Radio, an independent point of view. If you love independent wrestling, especially up in the Jersey, New York area, let me tell you, John's got his finger on the pulse of the independent scene up there in that area. If you're a fan of Pro Wrestling Syndicate, John's your man. Okay, he will keep you hooked up. So you gotta check out his show. Okay. Also, email us. Let us know what you think. Again, thank you guys for helping making this successful. Last week's show, 26 views. It had like 20 views within the first 2 days. Guys, I appreciate it. I really, really do. So you guys take care. Have fun. And hopefully, if the weather's great in your area, enjoy yourself. If you're like me, you're going to be stuck in rain. I'm going to catch up on DVDs. I might watch some TNA pay-per-views. Who knows? We'll catch you all next week.